has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. All right, we're going to start with Carver High. Hopefully we'll get to Coach Bowden. We have him on the line. We're just having some technical difficulties. Hopefully we can cut through that cake and get him on and talk about all the college football from Saturday. Why don't we move ahead to Stefon Diggs and this big game against his old team, the Bills, at NRG in Houston on Sunday, Mike?
Yeah, we could do that, of course. The Bills and the Texans getting together on Sunday, 1 o'clock East kick for these two. It is the Stefon Diggs Bowl. We know he was with the Bills the last several years. Didn't ask to be traded officially, but we know that he wanted out. Bills are eating a ton of cap space for him to play in Houston. Here he is, Scotty, with some of the stuff he was saying earlier this week. He says he can take it when people say negative things about him. He's got very big shoulders to handle it.
I had a lot of fun. I mean, obviously when you go to a new team, this is my, third time or second time going to a new team. So, you never know what to expect and what kind of guys you'll be around. But obviously I have a little bit of a rapport with CJ prior to, and it's easy to get a bad rap. Word travels fast, but, when you get to a place and people get to know you, they kind of get to gauge you for their own personal and their interaction with you. And things usually turn the corner when I get somewhere else. It's usually be smiles and a lot of positive stuff. So I just take it with a grain of salt. I got big shoulders. I can take it.
Yeah, I just don't buy his shtick. We've already, the proof's in the pudding. We've already seen this guy melt down and throw teammates under the bus and have his temper tantrums on the sideline, blaming everyone but himself. He turned a great thing into a disaster in Buffalo. I mean, at the end, let's just face facts. They all hated him. Let's stop with all this nonsense that they're friends. Yesterday, you put it bluntly, the best I heard. They ate $60 million to get rid of this cancer. That's what they did. When you see someone eat $60 million and they tell you they're all friends, you know they're lying. $60 million they ate to get rid of this guy. He was so painful. So his whole act right now, Mr. Nice Guy, is a bunch of bullshit. That's what it is. It's all an act. He is exactly who we think he is. We're right. There is none of this, anyone can be an actor and put on a wonderful smile and tell everyone how much they love Kumbaya, Jesus, and everything else. I don't buy it with this guy. Well, I don't deny that he can ball, okay? There's no denying the guy can ball. But at the end of the day, at some level, there's a price to pay for having him on your team. He becomes an issue everywhere he's been. Everywhere he's been. This is the third. You heard him say it. This is the second time he's moved. Well, the first team, he screwed that up. That's why they got rid of him. Now the second team got rid of him. Now he's on his third team. When are they going to get rid of him? When are they going to get sick of him? I am not buying all this friendship and love and we all like each other. It's way better when people just admit they can't stand each other. I don't like it. So I'm at this place, right? And this guy says to me, because I'd been in so many basketball problems with technical fouls and getting thrown out of games, right? Because I'm no nice, pretty angel playing basketball. When I play with jerks and I play with losers and idiots and people that don't know how to play and that are violent and they'll try to kill you before they let you score, I'm just not having it. So I've been in fights and everything else. So this guy says to me, he goes, yeah, this chick, she really didn't like you. And I said, yeah, well, it goes both ways. I didn't like her either. I never liked her. In fact, I hated her guts, and she had a big, giant, fat ass. I don't care what she thinks of me either. She can kiss my ass. And they were like, isn't it better when you just tell it like it is? Yeah, I can't stand you either. That's what I wish Josh Allen would say about this guy, but he doesn't have the onions. Honestly, just tell it like it is. I can't stand him. He was a pain in my ass. That's what he was. He's
never going to do that.
Well,
I'm sure McDermott would want to do it too, but he's not going to do it either. Everybody's going to play nice when they go down to Houston this Sunday as they get together.
So much better to not play nice.
I told you that by the end of this week, I thought that this would flip. It was Bills -1.5 early in the week. Then now it is Texans minus 1.5. Now, part of that is also because the Bills did not have a very good injury report today, Scotty. Let's just say that. They are going to be missing 4 starters on D, potentially 2 more. Ed Oliver got hurt at practice yesterday, so he is out up there in the middle of that defensive line. You also are not going to have Khalil Shakir on the offensive side. He is out after that ankle injury that he got last Sunday night. So the Bills have got a lot of injuries heading to Houston, and now the Texans are favored.
Well, they should be. I didn't know it was that drastic. It's got to be the Texans then to play. You can't have your whole team out and then expect to win. It's okay to have a couple of guys out, not the whole team. When the whole team's out, you got to go the other way.
You got big problems. I know they still got the quarterback, but still, I feel like he's going to have to do it himself because it doesn't sound like there's going to be a full defensive effort to stop C.J. Stroud, Stephon Diggs, and the Houston offense. Probably not.
Just kill him.
Probably not, I would have to say. All right, next. Of course, Jaden Daniels has gotten out to an amazing start as the Washington Commander quarterback, out to 3-1. They are scoring tons of points every week, and they return home after a couple of wins on the road. The Browns will be waiting for them, Scotty. Let's start with Daniels and dealing with some rising success that he is having.
Man, the main thing is keeping the main thing, man. That's football. How can I get better each and every week? Not get caught up in what people are saying or anything, because none of that really matters, because I could be playing good and playing bad and people be thinking the opposite. So it's staying level-headed, go out there and just focus on what's up, what's now, and be where my feet are.
Listen, let's just get real here for a second. This guy's already dealt with it at LSU. When you play at LSU and you win the Heisman Trophy, I think you know a thing or two about stress, pressure, expectations, people talking about you, people giving you lofty expectations, all the rest. He's already tasted all that. He's already been through all that. I think he's unfazed by the moment or being in the NFL. I just think, Mike, he's just a big-time football player at the college level and at the pro level. He's going to have a great career, barring injury. He is a magnificent talent, and he's better than Caleb Williams. He's better than Caleb Williams, hands down. I mean, it's so obvious it's not even funny.
Washington is a 3-point favorite now at home. There were some 3.5s for most of the week, but now a flat 3, 43.5 with Deshaun Watson and the Browns, who, of course, lost in Vegas last week.
Yeah, I mean, Gino might be onto something here. This might be a better game than it looks as advertised. I think it's just too easy to say Washington. I want it to be Washington. I think that they're better than the Browns. The Browns looked bad last week in Vegas. Are they going to do it again, just keep losing? Or are they going to give Washington problems? They might cover that number. They might very well cover the number. That's a dangerous game if you ask me. I think it just looks too easy. Anything that looks too easy in the NFL, run for your life.
I agree. If I'm going anywhere here, it might be the Browns. I gotta see a little bit more from Washington. I think it's very impressive what they've done the last 2 weeks against Cincinnati and Arizona, both on the road. But now the script flips a little bit, right, Scotty? They were dogs the last 2 weeks. Everyone's taking them as dogs. Now You're asking them to lay it, right? You're asking them to start laying now because they're getting so much juice. Let's see if they can handle that, even at home at the dump, and if they can get some things done. So I'm with you. I think it's more Cleveland for me, maybe, grabbing some points here than anything else for this week.
I mean,
all right.
They look good. They look
do.
good. There's no denying that offense looks like, tuned up. And if
they smash them this week, if they smash Cleveland this week like they've done the last couple of weeks, then I'll be even more of a believer. I'll start to think maybe they can cover some numbers and that offense is for real. But I still want to see a little bit more before I can fully jump in the pool with them and be down.
If they keep winning, they're going to be in the conversation for that division because the Eagles are phony and the Cowboys haven't really turned it on yet. And if they lose to Pittsburgh and Washington again, you got a situation.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sunday Night Football, not really much of a matchup here, and the Bills looked so good up until this point, and, to me, it's probably like a one-off for them.
The basic thing you have to do against the Ravens, force them to pass and try to use their weapons downfield, get them behind, because if you can do that, then it takes Derrick Henry a little bit out of the game. But if you get them with momentum coming out of the gate, getting a long touchdown run to the first play.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Coach Bowden on at the bottom of the hour, and right now we're going to talk to Dr. Zhivago, the infamous Dr. David Chow from SIC, Sports Injury Central in San Diego, Cal. He was at the Petco Park the other night, sitting front row behind home plate next to Norv Turner, and no one cared about Norv at all. We only cared that we saw Dr. Zhivago. I have to ask you, my son was at the game. It was great. All those 2-out hits in that big inning, and you got Manny hitting the drive to left. You hit Merrill's triple, cleared the sacks. It was crazy, that ballpark. What do you know about Joe Musgrove's elbow? Because he's had problems with that elbow this year, and he's got problems with it again. Is he done?
Well, I hope not. Obviously, I'm a big Padre guy, and my son is, and the whole deal. And that was a fun experience. I mean, Tony Hawk, my guy, threw out their first pitch. Rey Mysterio was there, gave me knuckles at behind home plate there. It was really kind of a fun deal. Not so fun to all of a sudden Joe Musgrove cruising, and then all of a sudden he's out. And Kyle Higashioka, got to give him credit, noticed a change in his throwing motion and the speed. And here's the problem. He had issues with a bone spur before Joe Musgrove. Bone spurs don't go away. You can only manage them. Hopefully the Padres can manage them. But, it may take an off-season scope to remove the bone spur. So fingers crossed they can manage Joe Musgrove. But I'm not that optimistic at this point in time.
I don't think he's pitching against the Dodgers. At best, if they win the division series and get to the pennant, I think there's a chance he might pitch. I think he might be done for the season. Once you have elbow problems, it's all over but the shouting. Remember, you can follow Dr. Chow at Pro Football Doc on X. Believe me, you should follow him. It's good for your health, and everyone else's for that matter. Anthony Richardson's hip. Let's talk about that.
Hip pointer, very painful. It's right where the oblique and the abdominal muscles attach. It's going to limit him. He's been limited in practice. It's going to limit his mobility. The question is going to be for Shane Steichen, do you want to play Anthony Richardson, who relies on his mobility, or play Joe Flacco, who doesn't? And, Richardson, you don't want to get him hurt worse because he's a half step slow. So that will be an interesting decision. And, of course, The other guy, we said all along, there's no such thing as a mild high ankle for a running back. And indeed, Jonathan Taylor is already ruled out this week.
Let's talk about Will Levis. Would you go with Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer again? Because they won with him, and Will Levis has played awful, and now he's hurt his shoulder.
Well, they have a bye week to decide, the Titans do. But that was a clear case of what we call hiding behind health. Will Levis did have a right shoulder AC joint sprain when he dove for that first down, but he could have returned to the game. If that's Josh Allen, you return to the game. If that's Joe Burrow, you return to the game. But with, he already threw a bad pick, and the coach said, if he's healthy, he's the starter. There's the if he's healthy side. It's a polite way to say, take a break and let's give the ball to Mason Rudolph, at least in that one game, and we'll see about week 6. Medically, he should be okay to play week 6. If he doesn't play, Will Levis isn't the starter, then clearly they're hiding behind health there, trying to give him a break.
Neighbors is still out in concussion protocol. What about Robinson and Singletary?
Well, Singletary is not good because of his groin issue. And Neighbors, of course, here's the issue. It was a Thursday game. When you don't practice on Wednesday and Thursday, you're not going to make it on Friday. And on Friday today, still DMP, so he's out again for sure.
Andy Reid saying they're waiting for Rice's knee swelling to go down. He's already on IR. What's the deal with Rice? He's done, right?
Well, he's done for at least 4 weeks and likely longer. I think they're trying to salvage something towards the end of the season here. Hopefully, it's not a complete ACL. And when we saw the video, we were not sure that the ACL was torn. It was more what we call posterior lateral corner. And that sometimes can heal without surgery. But he's going to be out a majority of the season. They just haven't officially ruled him out for the entire season yet. Of course, he's on IR right now. And I saw a report where some of the additional testing is they're going to see how he does on the field and moving on the field and if there's any instability, which is interesting.
Trey Hendrickson got banged up last week, but he's practicing limited right now. Do you expect him to be able to go for the Bengals against the Ravens?
Well, knowing Trey Hendrickson, I think he's going to try and go. But, unfortunately, with his neck and stinger issues, he's one hit away from being out again. Right now, he's making a miraculous recovery from a sling after the game to looking like he may play. The Bengals need the help on the defensive line. That's their one big area of weakness right now is the D-line right there. So we'll have to see what happens this week. Less than 100%, but trying to play. And a lot of other D linemen injured as well.
Parsons, how long do you expect him to be out?
Well, hopefully he can avoid injured reserve. DeMarcus Lawrence, his partner in crime, midfoot sprain, already on injured reserve, and likely out 6-8 weeks or longer. Parsons with his high ankle, hopefully only a couple weeks short of a 4-week IR. Of course, out this week, probably next week too, and then we'll see.
What is the receiving situation looking like for the Packers for Love with all these guys banged up?
Well, Christian Watson, they're saying better news than originally thought. It's not a significant ankle sprain, they're saying. I don't know. He's going to miss a couple weeks at least, Christian Watson. But what I do believe is that Jordan Love played with that lead leg brace, but he was far from 100%. I think he's going to be a lot better this week for the Packers.
Nick Chubb and TJ Hawkinson have started working towards coming off IR. How close are they?
Not that close yet. Not this week for sure. Maybe in a couple weeks. And look, if we get 80% Nick Chubb, we'll take it, right? Because he's that good. And TJ Hawkinson probably will get activated in a couple weeks, but need to work his way back to full health for the Vikings.
Dr. Zhivago, who are you taking? Padres against the Dodgers in the division series?
Friar Faithful, come on, all the way. We got to go.
Friar Faithful, Dr. Zhivago. He's going to be going to Petco. He's going to be drinking anything and he almost gave him the lavender around the turn to Friar Faithful.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFC selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sunday Night Football, not really much of a matchup here. And the Bills looked so good up until this point. And, to me, it's probably like a one-off for them.
The basic thing you have to do against the Ravens, force them to pass and try to use their weapons downfield, get them behind. Because if you can do that, then it takes Derrick Henry a little bit out of the game. But if you get them with momentum coming out of the gate, getting a long touchdown run to the first play.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Excited about the Cowboys and Steelers game Sunday night in Pittsburgh, Carver High. We got a little Tomlin on a pain-free Friday C2C.
Of course, we always have Mike Tomlin on Friday leading into the Pittsburgh Steelers game. I will tell you also about this game. The Cowboys just put out their injury report. Micah Parsons officially out on Sunday night at the place the Steelers play. I know there were some people who actually thought there was a possibility that could happen. It isn't. No Parsons there. Here it is, Mike Tomlin's weekly words of wisdom, this time focusing on the long-standing Cowboy-Steeler rivalry.
The strength of the brand, of the brands, is something that is to be respected. But I respect that every day, man, when I get out of that car in this parking lot. It's a responsibility to represent the black and gold, and I would imagine the guys in Dallas feel the same way.
Wrong.
You can't put a price tag on standards and legacy, and both organizations have that. We walk on the ground that's been paved for us by those that have come before us, and so we feel really blessed and honored to do so, and I'm sure that will be reflected in the way that both teams play this weekend.
There it is. We walk on the streets on the stones that those have laid before us. I mean, you gotta love Mike when he does all this stuff every week. It's outstanding content. It really is. So Sunday night at the place the Steelers play is where we will be. Of course, now -2.5 for the Steelers. 43.5 is the total.
Who do you like here, Mike? I just feel like, I'm worried about Dak Prescott. And at the same time, with no Lawrence, no Parsons, I think the Steelers have a shot here to win this game Sunday night in Pittsburgh by a field goal or more. And let's see if they can get it going. The running game that's been working. Let's get the passing game going. Let's hit Freiermuth. Let's hit Pickens. Let's go. The Steelers have to take advantage of the Cowboys' weaknesses.
They do have to do that, but I know you're not going to be happy with me. I think I'm on the other side this week. I think the Cowboys are going to go into the place the Steelers play and find a way. I'm going to take that 2.5 points with the Cowboys on Sunday night, Scotty. I know. Yeah, hate me already. It's like an Islander Penguin thing.
Well, early in the week, I was on them.
I know.
Too many
injuries. And you
look,
finally you went back to the other side. So I'm gonna go to the Cowboys. That you talking about it early in the week is what kind of shifted me towards the Cowboys for this week. Some of the stuff that you were saying. So I'm gonna hold strong with it, and I'm gonna take Dallas here on Sunday night at the place.
Listen, I'll probably get roasted for flipping. I don't like to flip, but I need Pittsburgh to get it done here and go to 4-1. I mean, they had a chance to win that game in Indy. They blew that. They had the ball with 2.5 minutes to go. They blew that. I mean, you're down 17-0. You come all the way back. You got to win the game, and they didn't. So let's see if they can have a good game against Dallas that's not in their fullest formation, right? They got weaknesses, so let's see if the Steelers can exploit it.
Let's see that indeed. All right, the Raiders, of course, are going to Denver to see the Broncos this week. You know, a lot of talk been about the Raiders because they have so many things going on with them. Let's remember this, Scotty. How about the Broncos coming off back-to-back wins on the road in Tampa and at the Jets at MetLife? So they come home 2-2, ready for a division game with the Raiders. Here's Sean Payton.
Fair question. Look, it's a division opponent. This is our first chance to play a division opponent. Last year, we finished 3-3 in the division. I can't recall a team that has accomplished anything worthwhile, finishing 500 in your division. And then you take a team like Las Vegas. There's a long storied history, and certainly I appreciate that, especially with our fans. And so, it's our job to play our best football this Sunday and get ready to play.
Listen, I like their defense, and so I'm going to lean Denver here, the way they play on that side of the ball, and I think they can do just enough to get by the Raiders in Denver. It's a tough place to play.
I'm with you. I'll take the Broncos minus that 2.5 on Sunday at home. And another one of these, you got a couple of these totals in the mid-30s this week. This is a 35.5. We've seen both teams sputter offensively. You know you're not going to have Adams for the Raiders. Might be like I said about the Jet-Viking game. Ugly, 16-10, something like that this week in Denver.
So another under there in the Mile High City. All right.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sunday Night Football, not really much of a matchup here. And the Bills looked so good up until this point. And, to me, it's probably like a one-off for them.
The basic thing you have to do against the Ravens, force them to pass and try to use their weapons downfield, get them behind. Because if you can do that, then it takes Derrick Henry a little bit out of the game. But if you get them with momentum coming out of the gate, getting a long touchdown run to the first play.
Newswire. only on SportsGrid.
Nothing is better than hooking up with Coach Terry Bowden on Fridays. Honestly, family, friends, none of that other stuff matters. When you got Coach Bowden on talking college football, that is what truly inspires all of us. You can follow him at the Bowden Blitz on X and see him here on C2C every Friday. Coach, good to see you as always. I want to start with the Canes game Friday night and that Hail Mary. What were you seeing there? What did you think? They gifted Miami that game. It was crazy. That football game was insane. They had 3 double-digit leads in that game, Virginia Tech, and somehow Miami walked out of there with a win that maybe they didn't earn.
Well, you know what? I talked to several people down there involved with their program. We stuck it up. We didn't play good. We turned the ball over. It was just not a good night. I said, hold it. Who won the game? Who won the game? You won the game. If you can play a close ball game, you don't want to, and win the game, you grow from that so much. And every time they got behind, who brought them back? Cam Ward. Everything about Miami is Cam Ward. I tell you, he made a play in the fourth quarter that no quarterback in America could make on a shuffle pass to his tight end to get them in the last position to come back and score again. You know something? Cam Ward is not just Miami. He's the future of Miami. I think their program depends on a Cam Ward playing like he did. But you know what? Every week he shows up and he makes big plays.
Now they have to go to Berkeley on Saturday night, late, 10:30 East. I know game day is going to be there in Northern California tomorrow for the first time in forever. Do you think it's too much wood here, 10.5 that Miami's laying against a decent Cal team? Are you buying Cal at all, or are they phony?
I tell you, the 10.5, no, Cal went into Auburn, knocked off Auburn. They play pretty good at times, and they're a solid football team. I think that's the problem with most of us that grew up in the South and Southeast. We don't tend to respect, as we should have growing up, teams like Cal, but they have a great football team. But the answer to this thing is, too, I worry a little about jet lag. Miami hadn't done many games going across country. I know when I would go across country to speak or whatever, I've always got a little jet lag. I don't know how that's going to affect them, but what must happen, they must play great defense. They allowed Virginia Tech to stay on the field way too long. They've got too much talent, and they've got more talent than Cal has. But we know what Cam Ward's going to do. I want to know what that Miami defense is going to do, because if they're going to get to the conference championship and they're going to play for a national championship, they've got to play great defense. As you remember well, that's the way Miami made their mark. They always had a great quarterback, and they could play defense.
That's right. Tonight we got 2 ranked games, Coach. One of them at Outson, it's Michigan State against the Ducks of Oregon. And then the second game is Cuse against UNLV. And the Rebels, ranked for the first time ever, lost their quarterback, and they still won out and put up 59 points, whatever it was, and they're still undefeated.
Yeah, it's funny. You lose one quarterback, you plug another one in, and you score more points. I think it's worked out perfectly for them as they remain undefeated. They're on the road for the first time, but Malik Williams can run and throw the football. That gives them a different type of offense, and it makes them an exciting football team. And I really like UNLV. Syracuse has won a couple of real tight ball games, but they're also on the road for the first time. But I think UNLV knows they have a chance to be that team that makes it to the playoffs as a G5 team. I know Boise State and UNLV are right there what people are talking about, but I think this is a huge game for UNLV, and I think they'll pull the win off against Syracuse.
What do you think TCU and Houston will be like tonight in Fort Worth?
Well, I tell you, you know what? That's one of those games where whoever gets hot, whoever gets hot can win that football game and have a chance to win. But Houston has been able to put some points on the board, but I don't really have a good feel for that game as to what I'd be putting on that game.
There's some really good games tomorrow, and one of them is, I think, SMU and Louisville in Louisville. SMU's 4-1, Louisville's 3-1. Louisville's laying 6.5. I think that game's going to be pretty good at noon.
Oh, I think that'll be a great game. SMU just killed FSU tore them apart last week. They tore SFSU apart. Louisville lost a tough game, but they still are an outstanding team, still haven't been beat in the conference. And I see that being a great game. But I like Louisville. I like their head coach, way he coaches. I like their quarterback. I think he's one of the best in the country. And I like the way they know how to win. They have won a ton of ball games. They played for the ACC championship last year. And I really like Louisville. I really think Miami, Clemson, and then throw in Louisville. I think that's going to be the final three people that are going to fight for the ACC championship.
I agree with you. Missouri's at Kyle Field, and the Tigers are undefeated, and A&M hasn't lost since they lost to Notre Dame. They've rattled off 4 straight. That's going to be a great game. A&M's laying 2.5 in College Station.
I'm jumping on A&M on this one. I know A&M lost their first game, a tough loss, but they're playing in Kyle Field. They're playing 105,000 people. Missouri has found a way to win. You know, they're kind of Alabama, Georgia light. They play well. They got a great quarterback, Brady Cook. But again, they've just been playing on the edge and winning football games. Texas A&M, I think, is the team that's building up for a great future. And they're the team with all the facilities, all the finances, all the resources, and they've got an outstanding head coach in Mike Elko. And so I think they knock off Missouri in this game to win this football game.
Georgia's at home at Sanford Stadium between the hedges. They're laying 22 and a hook to Auburn.
God, can you imagine this not being a big game? Now, I coached against Georgia 5 times, you know, and now was 3-1-1 against them. But this is played between the hedges. This was one of the biggest rivalries in the South. It's the oldest game in the South. And other than the fact that Georgia is coming off a tough loss to Alabama, Auburn has not played well enough to really make this a football game. The question is, can they challenge the line on the spot? Because they can't beat Georgia.
How about Ohio State at the shoe against Iowa? They're laying 18 to the Hawkeyes.
Well, the Hawkeyes, I think the way they play, they make that 18 a kind of a tough number. But I'll say this, we don't give Ohio State, in the Deep South where I live, they don't understand how good Ohio State is. The best probably talent in the country. They've got double-digit NFL draft choices, and their best player, maybe a freshman named Jeremiah Smith. This team is incredible, but they really haven't played a team that's challenged them yet. And I'm not sure. Now, Iowa, I think because Iowa can run the football and maybe keep Ohio State on the bench, their offense on the bench, they can keep that score down. But I still think they're just playing to see if they can beat the line. They're not playing to win.
You saw Alabama blow that lead. They still found a way to beat Georgia. Now they go to Nashville to take on Vandy, laying 22.5.
Yeah, I mean, again, another one of these games where I don't doubt who's going to win the game. That's just a tough number to come up with, especially the way Vanderbilt's been playing and how easy it is to come off of a big win like that and be a little flat. You'd think it wouldn't happen, but that'd be a tough one to pick that line. You might go with Vanderbilt on that line. You know, Alabama had some tough ball games before they got to that Georgia game, and they had a real second half that didn't show much, but they're still the team, the number one team in the country, and they're going to win this football game. But I'd stay close to Vanderbilt in this one.
How about Tennessee, ranked 4th, 4-0, going to Fayetteville, laying 13.5 against the Hogs?
Yeah, I tell you, this is one of my favorite games to watch because I love Tennessee so much. And, of course, they can throw the ball from anywhere. They can score from anywhere. They believe in the deep ball, but Tennessee can also run the football. That makes their offense hard to stop. And above even that, they have maybe one of the best defenses in the country, the best defensive player in James Pierce, in the country playing defensive end. And that's what I think is critical is what they can do with the offense and the defense in this game. But they'll have to play real well because this is a good football team they're playing against. Arkansas is a lot like Oklahoma. They're going to try to run the football, keep the ball under control. But I think Tennessee, just like in their Oklahoma game, will pull away in the second half.
Michigan's at Husky Stadium in Seattle against Washington, and the Huskies are laying 1.5.
Yeah, the Huskies are laying 1.5. I do like Michigan coming into this game. They've got some offensive struggles that they have, but they play great defense and they can run the football. And I think if you look at the elite talent they have and the great running attack that they don't have the quarterback situation, but I think they've got more bullets than Washington's has.
All right, Coach. Great stuff. Enjoy the games tonight and all day tomorrow, my man.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sunday Night Football, not really much of a matchup here. And the Bills looked so good up until this point. And, to me, it's probably like a one-off for them.
The basic thing you have to do against the Ravens, force them to pass and try to use their weapons downfield, get them behind. Because if you can do that, then it takes Derrick Henry a little bit out of the game. But if you get them with momentum coming out of the gate, getting a long touchdown run of the first play.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
All right, Cover High, we're still bouncing around pain day games for Sunday in the NFL.
Yeah, I got a few more to finish off here before we move on to some other things. The Giants will head out to Seattle late window on Sunday. You talked with a couple things with Doc about this already. Malik Neighbors out for the Giants. Doesn't sound like they're going to have Devin Singletary either as they hit the streets. -6.5 for the Seahawks, 42.5 the total.
I wanted to take that 6.5, but every time I look at this game, I think it's going to get worse. Like, literally, I think Seattle's going to pop them by 10 or more. I really do. Like, how are they going to stop them? How are they going to score? Who are they going to throw to? Who's going to run the ball? I think they're in trouble here in Lumen Field. It's a long trip, and they're playing a good team that's coming off a loss. They're home, and Geno's got, tons of yards. He's lighting it up. I think they produce against the Giants and cover.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just Seahawks offense, they can move the football and they can score some points. I don't see how the Giants are scoring with them. I think if they get in the 20s minimum, I think they're going to cover this number with the 6.5. So I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Seahawks next. Colts visiting the Jags in Jacksonville. We talked a little bit about this game yesterday. Jonathan Taylor is out for the Colts. He is not playing this week. Jags -3 at home. They're the only winless team left in the NFL. 46.5 the total.
I guess they're laying 3 because they're at home. There's no other reason for them to be favored. The Colts are better than them. Obviously, without Taylor and with the Richardson situation, obviously it's I think they're playing with a limp, right? So I think Jacksonville finally wins their first game. The question begs, will they cover a 3 spot? I have my druthers, but I'm going to probably lay it with Jacksonville here and hope they win it by more than 3.
I'm with you. I actually, believe it or not, I think this is the game, as sad as it is, that I like the most this week. I think the Jags are going to finally open one up here. No Taylor, maybe no Richardson. I know Flacco played well when he went in against the Steelers last week, but I just think the Jags are finally going to get something together. I'm going to lay the 3 with them along with you. The Dolphins are going to be in New England against the Patriots. Right now, -1.5 for New England, 35.5 the total. I did see today that the Dolphins might get Mostert back and even maybe on a limited basis Odell Beckham Jr. All that sounds nice, but guess what? They've had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Achane the last few weeks. It's not like those guys haven't been playing. They don't have a quarterback, so they can bring all the other shiny toys out on the field, Scotty. They're not scoring any points.
Yeah, I don't want any part of this game. I like the under. That's where I'm at on this. I'm not betting on either one of those teams.
I like the under as well. Under 35.5. Those two games with the mid-30s, I like the under in both of them. And you did send me this note, and I'll mention it because we've talked about this a lot. The NFL is not going to get involved with Tua's potential return. They are going to let the doctors there handle it. They tell him that he's cleared to play, and he wants to play. He's going to play. It doesn't sound like they're going to get involved whatsoever with that situation.
They're going to let him make the fateful decision himself because he's not going to listen to anyone. He's going to do what he wants, which is play football, and then the inevitable will happen. He will get his bell rung again. As sure as I'm sitting here, he's going to have another concussion, and then another, and then eventually he's going to be essentially brain dead. Like, I'm not kidding. This is it is amazing to me, truly unbelievable that they're going to continue to let this guy go out and get his head smashed in. I mean, honestly, like, it's almost criminal. To me, it's becoming a joke. And now that they're like saying literally, we're not going to get involved, we do protocols, and then it's up to you to go kill yourself. I mean, honestly, that's what he's doing. He's chipping away at his life, in my opinion, by continuing to play NFL football and take shots. He can't take a hit. We've already seen that. All you have to do is hit him, and he's out. He's concussed. So, and not only that, he's in full, he's wigging out his fingers. He's like, this guy has, it's just one after the next, and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse. How stupid do you have to be to let this guy keep playing pro football? I don't care what anyone says. I'm not listening to anybody. Tell me that guy is safe on an NFL football field with as loose and rattled as his brain is. I mean, honestly, he's cooked.
Yeah, it has not been good. We'll see. That decision is going to come down in the next couple of weeks. Panthers into Chicago.
He just can't take a hit. He's really talented, but I don't care.
Yeah.
He can't take a hit. This is the NFL. This isn't pop
Very,
Warner.
very unfortunate. Panthers into Chicago against the Bears. Of course, Caleb Williams is a Bear because of how bad the Panthers were last year with that top overall pick. -3.5, 41.5 here is the total. I kind of like the Red Rifle getting 3.5 in Chicago on Sunday.
Going with the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton in Chicago. I still like the Bears defense here to give them problems in Chicago to win this game.
Look, I don't think it's going to be pretty, that's for sure, with those two getting together. Probably won't be the best game of the day, the Panthers and the Bears. The Cardinals to San Francisco against the Niners. Niners laying 7.5, 49.5 the total here.
I just want to see it. I really do. I want to see Arizona give them problems and cover that number. That's what I'm like. I'm all in on that. I want to see that happen. Probably won't happen, but that's what I want to see happen. This team's 2-2, and everybody thinks they're going to the Super Bowl as always, and I just want to see them lose. I don't care about anything else. I want to see Arizona go in there and punk them. Give me the points.
Yeah, look, they hit the road now for a bunch of weeks. Of course, they played 3 of their first 4 games at home already, Arizona, starting 1-3 as they head out for that division game. All right, we'll come back. I've got 2 or 3 other NFLs to get through. I'll give you the touchdowns, and then we'll start all the college. We got a lot of baseball to do as well. Very busy here today. Very, very busy.
I mean, it is just unbelievable the amount of action we got tonight. Games tonight, 3 of them in college football. And coming up in a little bit, Rich Sermonello as well, breaking down more college football skinny for us. C2C on a pain-free Friday like you read about, baby.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Sunday Night Football, not really much of a matchup here. And the Bills looked so good up until this point. And, to me, it's probably like a one-off for them.
The basic thing you have to do against the Ravens, force them to pass and try to use their weapons downfield, get them behind. Because if you can do that, then it takes Derrick Henry a little bit out of the game. But if you get them with momentum coming out of the gate, getting a long touchdown run of the first play.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Upset at so high on Sunday in Lipstick City, Carver High. Can we get a little Rams upset?
I guess anything is possible, right? They did do it at home a couple weeks ago to the Niners. Anything could happen. The Packers are coming off a loss at home. They're also going to be a little thinner at wide receiver. It sounds like Watson and Dobbs both doubtful is what they were listed on the injury report that just came out. I know Doc gave you some word on that too. Either way, Packers are 3-point road favorites here at SoFi with one of our bigger totals of the week, 48.5.
That sounds like a wild game if they're right about that number. So give me the Rams in a wild game in L.A.
Why not? I'll take a wild game. I'm always good for the wild. I know we're taking some unders here today, but that's because those games, they suck. That's why we're taking some unders
look
today.
Bad so far to me. He hasn't done anything. Now he could bust out, but he hasn't done anything yet that I've been impressed with.
I thought before he got hurt in the Eagle game, I thought he played pretty well. Obviously, he missed a bunch of games, and last week, he probably has come back a little quick. To be quite honest with you, I mean that was an injury that everyone said was going to take 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
and he was back in 3. So I'm sure that there's still going to be some time here for him.
Screw him.
We'll see how he plays. Screw him. You're out there. Hey, if you're playing, you can't say anything about injuries. You're playing, that's it. It's done. You're out there. I don't want to hear about it ever. Speaking of injuries, and Doc also mentioned this, Rashee Rice, IR. I heard Reed say we're going to wait, let the swelling go down, and we're going to do. Here's the other thing I'm going to say to you, and this will bother the hell out of me if the league does this. The league had already made it clear that they were not going to get involved with any kind of discipline for him or any kind of legal stuff. His court date's not till I think it's December or January. And now that he's hurt and he's going to miss time, I've seen people suggest that they should ramp up their investigation and suspend him this year since he's hurt. And that's not how it works.
No.
It doesn't work like that. So he's hurt. Your problem. Next year, suspension, your problem. That's how it works, Scotty.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear this nonsense. They better not move up and try to suspend him this year because they were never planning on doing that. Every insider all over the world, they're going to let this season play. He's going to play this year, and then they'll do all the discipline from the league level for next season. Well, it better stay that way. I don't care that he misses the whole year.
How about it's starting to get a little ridiculous with the league cooking the chief stew for him?
That will be that.
Game, every call, everything goes their way. They get it. How about anyone else? He's sitting during games when he's healthy. That's how it works. Let's stop with all this other bullshit.
Nonsense that I saw that floating around today. The Chiefs, of course, play on Monday night, so we will discuss that more on Monday here on Coast to Coast. They have the Saints at Arrowhead, and we will do more there. All right, how about we get to the tutties for Sunday? Everybody likes touchdowns, and we would like to stay rolling here for us. All right, first of all, look, you had to do it because here's why. Whether you like it or not, you know that this guy is going to take Stroud and the offensive coordinator Slowick. He's going to get all of them to the side and say, I got to score today. I don't care how I do it. I don't care if it's a pass. I don't care if I got – last week he ran one in. And he's going to score against the Bills because he's going to force them to make sure that he scores against the Bills. Plus 155 for Stephon Diggs on Sunday in Houston against the Bills. Next, last week the Jets had some problems at the goal line, Scotty. Hulk wasn't able to bang it in against the Broncos. I got a feeling if Salah and if Hackett get put in the same spot this week in London, it'll be the big fella, Braylon Allen, going in from the goal line. Let's take Allen out in London at plus 270 for the Jets. Next, DJ Moore for the Bears against his former team in Carolina, plus a buck 65 there for him. Next, you said it earlier. There's only one guy on the Bengals who does anything. It's Jamar Chase, and he always plays well against Baltimore. Plus 120 for him to score in that game. And here's your kind of biggish bomb for the week. You know who's been getting burned for the Rams? They got no Cup. They got no Puka Shells. Tutu Atwell has been grabbing a lot of balls for them. So we're going to get Tutu in at plus 250 this week. Diggs, Allen, Moore, Chase, and Atwell, the tutties for Sunday.
Wow, your boy Desmond Tutu getting involved. That is fantastic. So Diggs, Allen, Moore, Chase, Atwell, you're good to go with Carver High.
You know Diggs is going to force himself.
Tutties.
Diggs is going to force himself a touchdown against Buffalo. You know it's going to happen. He's going to be all over Stroud. Throw me the ball here. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball. Throw me the ball.
Keep him out of the end zone. The Bills
I
have
hope
to take
so.
a stand here.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people. What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
there is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.